NTV, I'm Andrew Chamagiromuntwa, and we're still having a conversation. Today seems to be a day of innovation and agriculture in our country, and it's a conversation I'm grateful to talk about. Joining me today, we're talking about the niche marketing of coffee and traceability around the globe. There has been a Roasters conference underway in the United States, and a couple of our players from Uganda, they actually went. The other time we were talking to Saleh in New York, and then we talked to Nelson Tugume. And today we are honored to have the Minister of State for Investment, that is Honorable Evelyn Anite. Good morning, Honorable. Okay, we'll be joined by the Honorable. She is on Zoom, and I understand that she's in Mombasa, still under the investment arm, trying to see how best we can work with Kenyans and the region as a whole. And with me in studio, I have Mr. Eric Sempambo, the Private Sector Foundation Development Officer from Private Sector Foundation. Good to have you, Eric.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
It's an honor to have you on a day like this when we're discussing something to do with coffee traceability and the market traceability. As a farmer, I want to understand how best does the PSFU or the Private Sector Foundation align with the farmers, especially of coffee, and how best we can add value.
Thank you very much, Andrew. But perhaps allow me to say good morning, viewers.
Please.
As PSFU, as an apex body of the business community, one of the sectors that we serve is the coffee industry.
Yes. For
obvious reasons. A number of us did our basic commerce, drawing references to coffee.
Oh, yeah.
When you talk about exports, coffee is the second thing you think about in this country.
True.
So coffee is at the forefront of what we are doing. So as farmers, the most important intervention we are putting out there is we want to see a farmer earn more from their efforts.
Yeah.
I'm told, and I know we appreciate that where we come from in most of the coffee growing areas, there are terms like Chiboko, growers,
yes,
you know, that history.
Oh, yes.
But all that speaks to low levels of value addition of our coffee and quality issues. So as a foundation, our biggest interest is seeing how we address those gaps to create more value to our farmers. But importantly also, to attract young people like me into a field that is dominated by the Chimvimvis.
Yes, the old people. Yes.
The 50 and above.
Yes.
So how do we do that? We're interested in that structure change. There are important attributes of the industry. For example, how do we ensure the right post-harvest handling techniques and information that is shared out there? Possibly a number of our parents don't have this information, but the young people have this information. So we are intervening in that direction to bring the right agronomy to the farmer using the vehicle of the young person. Because the young person is innovative, is dynamic, and is very energetic.
Wow.
So that's what we are doing.
Well, joining us from Mombasa, we are having the Minister of State for Investment, Honorable Evelyn Anite. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning. Good morning, Andrew.
It's very exciting, and thank you so much for taking off some time that we discuss the coffee value chain. As the Minister in Investment, and you're very vibrant about how best we can add value to the coffee value chain. We want to understand, what is the Minister of Investment doing about the marketing, especially the marketing component, the marketing traceability of coffee just beyond Uganda?
Okay, so first of all, good morning to you, and good morning to everyone who is tuning to NTV this morning. What is the Ministry of Investment doing? We are working with foreign missions, and I'm very happy that Inspire Africa, led by our very wonderful brother Nelson, is in Washington trying to take the coffee, Ugandan coffee, down this time, not just by selling, but by trying to do a promotion in our embassies And so we are promoting that. What we think that we have to do moving forward is to have warehouses where Ugandan farmers can then get their coffee, and the coffee is stored next to the market. As you know, in the diaspora, what you need to have first is the raw materials to be near the market. So the best thing we could do, and moving forward with our embassies, and I've just been having a discussion here with our consular, Ambassador Paul in Nairobi, in Mombasa rather, and we want to do this to put warehouses in almost all our embassies, and ensure that next to the embassies there is availability and enough of this coffee, and they do commercial diplomacy and market it. But I'm really very, very proud of Nelson of Inspire Africa, and of course the fact that now we are more aggressive in marketing our coffee. That means that back home we also have to improve the way our farmers are planting, so that we get more yields and we get the right variety of seed Spring 18, which can be able to be accepted and fetch for us more foreign exchange.
About how we best need to upgrade on how we deal with coffee. When it gets to small-scale farmers, even the farmers who are actually on a large scale, they have a little bit of challenges when it gets to starting up. The investments are a little bit capital intensive to start off with the machinery, the training, the capacity building and all that. What is your ministry doing about farmers in that kind of cluster? And what opportunities are there for them to tap into?
Okay, so you know that as a government we work together, and we work as not in silos, we work as one government. So the bulk of the work of seeing that the farmers get the right variety, and the farmers are supported with irrigation and all this, is a holistic approach that government has adopted through the, first of all, through the parish model, and making sure that we take the money to the parishes and give every parish 100 million, and this is for them to do modern agriculture, and do it in a commercialized way, not in that rudimentary way that they were doing. But focus, of course, is going to be in our cash crops, which bring for us more money, and coffee is one of them. So the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Frank Mwebase, will take a lead on trying to sensitize the farmers. And then for me and the Minister of Trade, ours is to show that they do value addition, because we now know that for us to get more foreign exchange on our coffee, we need to do more value addition. But this value addition has to start right from the farms. And so the Ministry of Agriculture will do its part on doing the value addition and teaching the farmers on how to get great and better yields. And for me as a Minister of Investment, is to try to attract for them and give for them access to cheap financing, and also giving them opportunity to do to have plant and machinery, so that they can be able to have machinery which they could use for doing value addition. Of course, I visited Nelson's Coffee City. I saw those plant and machineries that he had bought there. If we could give it for our farmers across the country, then they'll be able to clean the coffee beans better, just like Nelson is doing. But Nelson alone cannot meet the international demand. Now he's gone there through Inspire Africa to look for the global market, and we have tuned in our diplomats abroad to do commercial diplomacy, and in that we now have to go backwards and also make sure that we give them the right tools so that they get the right seed yields, and in the right quantities and in the right qualities. So this is what we're going to do, but it is everything combined, and what I can tell you that this is the top one agenda for His Excellency the President. As you remember that he launched his drive of increasing the coffee yields and saying that yes, we have to increase our bags from just 3.5. We have to push these bags of coffee beans to by 2020 to 40 bags, rather 60 bags, and now we are at 7 million bags. We need to take this even further, but I believe it's feasible if we work together with the farmers, because it is not the exporter of the coffee beans who can take our coffee out there in the global market, but it is working together with the farmers, and I'm very, very happy that the Ministry of Agriculture, led by Honorable Frank Mwebase, is doing its part. OWC are doing their part, and I believe that through this Paris model, it's going to be an excellent news for Uganda, that the Ugandan farmers are going to smile, because they're going to have access to capital and access to machinery, and they have the government support. And that's the only way we will be able to get more foreign exchange for our country through our coffee.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Just hang in there. Coming back to you, Eric, you hear how the minister is articulating that the government model, parish model, is allocated and its intention about the farmers. But are our farmers ready to receive all this? Because in investment arm, the minister shows you that we have a well-lined strategy which you have to cascade down to the people. Agriculture equally has the same. But you as PSFU, given that you work a lot with farmers at the different layers, are they ready to receive this kind of support from the government?
Thank you very much, Andrew. I think, first of all, it is our duty to make the farmers ready to receive this kind of information. And what we are doing mainly is what we call value chain development. And I'll give you some statistics. 98% of our coffee is exported as screens.
That's a lot.
18 to, I think, 12. And only 2% of that enters the niche markets we want to talk about. And if you look it deeper, the issue is value chain development.
Oh, yes.
A number of our farmers don't have enough information about how do you dry coffee, for example. How do you even harvest it? You know, there is a lot of that pooling technology, which people in Masaka and other areas call kurura. Yes. Yes. But that kills quality. Okay? Yeah. The issues around productivity per tree. We're not performing very well in that direction because of, again, issues about input, issues about access to water, fertilizer, and the fall information. So for us, we have come up with what we call a lead farm structure.
Okay. How does it look?
Now, a lead farm structure is purely, in simple language, a market-driven approach. So you work with a company like Inspire Africa, and you work with them to open up niche markets.
On the other side.
Okay, on the other side. But importantly also, go deeper on the value chain to ensure that the supply chain suits the interest of the market.
Nice.
Now, there is where we have a gap currently, and that's why we are coming in to intervene and close. We want to see that the farmers get a better price for their products, because we know that when they enter into a niche market, the prices, and statistics has it, that when you move into the niche market, the price increases by an extra $30.
That's a big one.
So it's equivalent to 1,300 per kilogram. So an extra, just by moving into a niche market, but importantly also addressing value chain issues.
Wow.
So issues like crop extension, that suits the interest of the market. Okay?
Yes.
Issues like access to simple things like tapolins, you know, where people can dry coffee. A few of our farmers even know that when you're drying coffee, it should not be more than an inch in terms of depth.
Yes.
You know, that kind of information is what we are taking to the farmer, but following that approach, such that our interventions are not scattered, but we want to target them to the market. As we are doing that, we are addressing quite fundamental issues. Issues like cutting out the middleman.
That's
a
true.
big pillar who also distorts quality.
And destabilizes the market.
The market, definitely. The second thing we're addressing is market information flow. We want to empower farmers to actually even know
what's the market like.
Absolutely. And what are the opportunities there. But importantly also, we are bringing in different stakeholders to play. We are bringing in young people who are currently either employed to go and pick coffee for others, but they only stop at that level. A few of them have gone into production because of the rigidities that are there, but we want to use their information, their innovation needs. A lot of them are in IT now, but how can we digitize coffee? How do we stop doing extension like we did in 1962?
That's true.
You know, and we do it in a modern way.
Yes.
Using young people. And this is exactly what we are doing, using our lead farm structure. We know that at the end of the day, we should see more export value coming out of our coffee from the current money that we're getting. We should also see increase in incomes of our people who are engaged. About 5 million people are engaged in this sector. We want to see young women also start reaping out of the business. How can I start talking about myself being a coffee farmer or a coffee player without pointing at a garden that I own the garden?
Oh yes.
You know, this is the trend where we're coming in. And we are open to work with all stakeholders. Government is a big pillar in this. Especially through the legal regime. I'm very happy now that we have a coffee law, which was assented to recently.
Oh yes.
It's very, very welcome.
It's moving forward.
Yeah, very, very welcome to help us enforce against malpractices that especially distort quality. Because when quality is bad, we all lose. The trader loses, the farmer loses, even the other value chain.
And we lose the market.
And even government loses.
Now, Honorable, I'm sure you've been following this conversation, the submission from Mr. Eric here, Sem Pambo from the Private Sector Foundation. Honorable, given that we are looking at the niche marketing and we're trying to trace our market at the different continents around the world, what is government doing about it? Earlier on, you alluded to the fact that government is actually talking to all the ambassadors and the foreign, diplomats that they should embrace this conversation from the word go. But do they, the diplomats, on the other side, understand the coffee value, the value of coffee from home to around the globe?
Okay, before I answer that question, allow me comment the gentleman from Private Sector Foundation for elaborately explaining what we need to do as a country to improve our sales and yields of coffee, and what we need to do, particularly with the farmers. Like I said, the process of putting Ugandan coffee on the table does not start with the diplomats. It doesn't start with the government, with the politicians. It has to start with the farmers. It has to start from politicians going to the farm and talking to the farmers and telling them what they have to do and how they have to do it, and educating them. What I'm trying to tell them is giving knowledge. And these politicians working with our scientists in the different ministries, particularly the scientists who have acquired the knowledge of agriculture and modern agriculture, going to teach these farmers how they can do it the right way. Because if you don't have, just like the gentleman in the studio has said, if you don't have the right quality, and if it is not clean enough, if it is not if it's not clean and it's not the right quality clearly and not dried the right way, then you can be sure that nobody will even pick interest in the Ugandan coffee. As you know, that Ugandan coffee, the Robusta, is the right and the best variety globally, but is admired by so many people. And of course, we just have to, we now have the right coffee. The Robusta coffee is now being used as a benchmark for coffee across the world because of its high latitude on any other species, because it's very organic, and everyone is looking at an organic thing. So we just have to give our diplomats the right information about the coffee. But again, after they have the right information about the coffee variety that Uganda is promoting and selling, now we have to go back again, ensuring that we have the right variety and the right coffee that we're putting with the right aroma, let's say. Andrew, let me just give you a story of an experience that I've just had here, first-hand experience. As you know, I just, as a Minister of Privatization, I supervised Uganda properties abroad. So coming to Mombasa, having seen over 23 assets of Uganda, among them are warehouses, and I visited one of them. When I visited this, what struck me there was the fact that we have Ugandan tea. I know we're talking coffee, but I just want to give you this example. We have Ugandan tea, and it is being blended with Kenyan tea, and then these guys give it another name and baptize it. So there's a bishop ready there to baptize this coffee from Uganda, Igara, Toro, name it, and then they have all this coffee, tea from Uganda, but because the Ugandan coffee does not have the right aroma and it has the right weight, for them to fetch more money, the exporters have come up with the technology of blending this coffee, this tea, and blend it with the Kenyan coffee tea, which they say that has the best aroma, and then they come up with the final product, and that is the value addition they're talking about, and then they sell it and it fetches for them more money. So my question was, at the end of the day, the final product is whose product is it, for which country? They tell me, oh, it is for the country that has done the final value addition, and which is Kenya. I mean, we're all East Africans, which sounds good, but then it makes the Ugandan farmer or the private
lose out
to get lost.
Yeah, true.
Because at the end of the day, we have the weight, but we don't have the right aroma. So my question was that, okay, what do we do for our farmers to meet both the right weight and the right aroma, so that our tea is actually the best tea globally? The same thing applies for the coffee. You see, if you compare the coffee of Uganda, we sell more bags than our neighboring countries, but they get more money than us. And what is the reason why they get more money than us? It is because the variety that they're selling, or the screen, what the scientists call, or the coffee sellers call screen 18, and the process of drying and the process of cleaning, as Ugandan farmers are not meeting that, we then end up getting fetching less money for our beans than our neighboring country, who sells less bags of coffee and get more money. So we need to concentrate on the quality and the process and how they plant it. I'm told that there's a Brazilian way of planting coffee, which is the best way. We need to teach our farmers, and we just can't say we need. We have to lead by example. As we give our farmers the money, as we give for them to, as we distribute the seedlings, we have to go ahead and tell them that the coffee varieties that we've given you, the only way you can get better price for the money for your beans is by planting it in a very in a specific way and drying it and taking them through the process. So education and skilling the farmers on how they have to plant, and the entire value chain process is very, very important as we promote and make our diplomats abroad do the commercial diplomacy and do the promotion, because you cannot promote something and then at the end of the day, when the time comes for the actual product to be put on the table, the product is not there. Clearly, I can tell you, Andrew, that is going to be a loss for our country.
Wow. Thank you so much, Honorable. I understand you're still in the summit that is still in Mombasa. And thank you so much for representing the country. I'll let you go for now. Now, connecting to Washington, I understand Nelson Tigume and the others and the congressmen actually have been meeting at the American Embassy, and we have our team there. Nelson, if you can hear me, good morning.
From Washington, D.C. at the Ugandan Embassy, where we had great part of the day. Once again, rediscovering Uganda's coffee back here in the United States of America. It's been again another exciting and amazing day. A great success of Uganda's coffee back here. Once again, we interacted with lots of people, State of Department, senators, ambassadors from different countries back here in the United States, different cuppers and testers, roasters. They were all here and we had a great event. To me, what was surprising, indeed, once again, we are getting our Robustas back into, I had, and you have had, and probably you've seen in the footage that you've been viewing, we've seen our Robustas here actually made no difference that either they did know it was Arabicas until we told them we are winding off for Robustas in cup testing and bringing Robustas. Some of the people confessed to us that indeed they didn't get the difference. This is the real deal, my friends, back to Uganda. This is the real deal, my good friends, my farmers, our different people in the coffee value chain. To me, indeed, we are rediscovering Uganda's coffee. I want to humbly say and really thank the Embassy of Uganda here in the United States, Ambassador Katende, Ambassador Santa, and the rest of the team here at the Embassy who have made this happen, but also not forgetting the most important people who were the technical people on this day, the Quality Coffee Institute here in the United States. And I can tell you, farmers, we are bringing back them to Uganda Direct to really understand what quality means, to have some training. I like that we're putting this together with them, with the Quality Coffee Institute back in Uganda as edutourism in coffee. And I'm also excited about that. That's a project that we're going to be working on to continue getting our coffees all over the world. These guys are all over the world. They are coming with people from Japan, from Saudi Arabia, from Middle East, from China, from Spain, from Europe, to make sure we get our coffees be understood, but also that one connection of the quality control, the Q guys who do professionalize, who improve quality all over the world. So this project, friends back home in Uganda, we are bringing it to you, and that will be next year. So keep tuned and keep understanding all this is going to be happening back at the Coffee City and Inspire Africa, to make sure we understand how quality works, so that once we get into the market, we indeed will lead and keep the best coffees that we can have. I was very excited when I saw the State of Department commit that this is the time to even increase on the relationships that we have with the US government, not just by words, not just, but also by how much coffees come here. I was very excited by that. And I was also thankful to Ambassador Santa committing that the government is willing to improve any relations with the coffees that are coming in the world. Like we go back home and say, coffee is the real deal. As you saw in those small cups, yes, they are small cups, but they are real big deals. So friends, Ugandans, farmers, let's take this serious. Let's take this big. Let's really go big and we rediscover our coffees in the United States of America and other parts of the world. Once again, for me, it's amazing, it's exciting to see how very quality controllers, roasters coming again and getting excited about Uganda coffees, and more or less getting excited about Robustas. This could be the very time, this could be when I said the thing, or the mother is pregnant and they have to deliver the boy. Friends, we have to deliver the Robustas in the United States of America, in the markets here. And this is the cause. This is one of the reasons why we're here. As you remember, friends, we have 85% of the total coffee production in Uganda being Robusta. And therefore, this is the time to really aggressively get into the market, get the people understand the fragrances. I had people say, my God, the chocolates, the vanillas, the different flavors and fragrances that they found in these Robustas. It was amazing. It was fantastic. So I want to say this is the time we get to be in the retail chains like, you know, Colga, like Costco. And to me, with the support from the state of, with the U.S. government, state of department, with the embassy here, with good relationships that we have in the United States, I believe we can be in these retail chains. What we need to do is to ensure that you and I do our part, and that's quality. But also very excited about the diaspora here in the United States, especially Ugandans, wanting to come back home and invest in the coffee estate model, which later on we'll be discussing and we'll be talking about, but also investing back here in the United States. So they invest back home in the coffee estate, but also to complete the whole value chain, they have part of the retail chain here back in the United States.
Being our prime product, our biggest export earner, we would like to really promote it and see that it is beneficial to our economy, to our farmers, and above all, I think we would like to have Uganda and Ugandans benefit from the whole value chain of the coffee market.
I'm Todd Arnett, and I'm with Coffee Quality Institute. And our mission is to increase the quality of coffee and the lives of those who produce it. And how that plays into our Uganda coffee tasting today, we had some lovely coffees on the table. And events like this help with place branding, where people in the consuming country start to connect Uganda coffee with great coffee. And then they start to buy more coffee from Uganda, and they ask for it by name. So ways that we can accomplish that is with a project where people in the consuming countries who are pursuing a Q-grade certification, we can host those classes in Uganda with them, and the producers can also attend. So now we have the consuming country and the producing country people in the same quality class.
You see currently going on at the U.S. Embassy that is in Washington, Ugandan Embassy in Washington. They're amplifying the conversation of coffee, the traceability issue. It is something we're talking about here. The niche marketing traceability of Ugandan coffee. Eric, you had the minister say that the Kenyans, yes, you're in East Africa, they buy our coffee because of our aroma and all that it has, and they find another coffee within their country, then they add value to it, and then they bring out a totally different brand. How do we go from here and we actually have our own brand and it stands as it should?
Well, thank you, Andrew, for that. I think the first statement I can mention is, you know, humanity is interesting.
Yeah.
People are always there searching for opportunities. So your weakness will be somebody's opportunity to exploit and take advantage.
Oh, yes.
So you don't expect Kenyans, much as they're in the ESC, to look at you and advise you to do things rightly.
They'll pick the opportunity.
Absolutely, and exploit it. So the gap that we have to address is the value chain. A value chain is a system.
We don't have a system.
And it's a system that has different players playing their role. And it is jointed to suit the interest of the market. Now, short of that will always bring an opportunity for somebody to take advantage.
Wow.
Now, what we need to do first is, and we have studied it, we have seen that the only way to improve our value chains is that you must take a market-driven approach.
Okay.
Because if every farmer, every exporter, every processor wakes up every single day to answer the questions of the market.
True.
So you must keep your eyes at the market and then address the bottlenecks that limit you to attain those specifications. So how do you do that? With working with companies, companies that have access to these markets. As PSF, you're working with Inspire Africa. We're working with Kawacom, No Cafe, and other coffee exporters and farmer organizations. We're working with them to give us market information. We want them to tell us that, you know what, you guys, we want coffee of screen 18. We want to increase our market access of organic coffee that goes to Europe, or coffee that goes to the rainforest, which is a niche market that appreciates sustainability. And then we use that information to address all the bottlenecks down the chain.
Thank you.
Ensure the agronomy is right, ensure the storage is there, ensure the right partners are there. And importantly, work with government to ensure that the things we can't work on, like enforcement,
Government can do.
Government can come in.
Thank you so much, Eric Samampo, from the Private Sector Foundation. It's a conversation of the coffee marketing and traceability. We need to be a part of the conversation. Joining me now is Stephen Mbide, who happens to be in Nansana, where there have